Hello again. This is Magdala with a Time for God. I hope your day is going wonderfully. We're still talking along the lines of the value of keeping God's laws and principles. And today I want us to talk a little more about that. What's the value of keeping God's law? Seeking God first with all our hearts, soul, mind, and strength, and loving our neighbor as ourselves, and all the other commands. What's the value of keeping them? Well, for starters, God's laws benefit us, and God promises to prepare a table for you. Where? In the presence of your enemy. Why is that vital to keeping God's laws and principles? Well, God has commanded us to do things in a certain way. If we listen to Him, we make it easier for Him to accomplish what He purposes to accomplish in our lives. He says at Jeremiah 29, verse 11, He knows the thoughts He thinks concerning us, that they are thoughts of peace, to prosper us, to prosper you, and to give you an expected end. Now, if you're not doing things God's way, you don't qualify, do you? That's why He says in Psalms 27, verse 11, be wise. He refers to you as a son. He said, be wise, my son, and make my heart rejoice. Why? So that I can make a response to the one that taunts me. The enemy taunts God. And it's before the enemy that God promises to prepare a table for you. But if you got no idea how to sit at a table, of what relevance it is to prepare that table for you, doing things God's way prepares us to sit at that table that God is about to prepare in the presence of our enemy. When the Israelites left Egypt, they found themselves at the Red Sea, and Pharaoh's army in hot pursuit. The Israelites were afraid. They panicked. But God said to camp. What? Set up camp? The enemies are in hot pursuit? Yes. Why? Because He was about to prepare a table for them in the presence of their enemy. And the enemy, you could tell, they were hot-blooded. They knew the victory was at hand. After all, these were their slaves. They had enslaved these people for 400 years. So it was breeze to them. They knew who they were. They trusted what they could do. So they went in hot pursuit of them. God didn't tell them jump in the water. He said rest. Put up your tents. The people panicked. And today too, we do panic when things happen. And it seems as if the enemy is gaining upper hand of our situation. A lot of us face such with family members, especially. Sometimes, not all the time. Some people are blessed to have families who want to see them excel, succeed, and do well. But the rest who don't know what I'm talking about when I say family. Sometimes your own family be in hot pursuit to destroy you. But the living God has said He will prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemy. But you must be ready to sit at that table. You must understand what the table etiquettes are. In this situation, it's God's law, God's principles that He set aside for His servants, His children to follow. And that's why He says, be wise, my son, or my daughter, and make my heart rejoice. Remember, God does not need your help. He sure don't need your fear. But He wants you to trust Him and have faith that He is the same one. And before Him, there was no God formed. And after Him, yes, there will continue to be none. He promises never to leave or forsake His own. And the psalmist, who went through a lot of trials and tribulations in his lifetime, at the end he could say, a young boy he used to be, and at the time of making this statement, he had grown old, and yet he had never seen the righteous forsaken, or his seed beg for bread. God remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. So you can trust Him. If you make a conscientious effort to do things God's way, you can rest assured that when the Lord is your shepherd, you do lack nothing. This is Magdala with a time for God. Do have you a wonderful rest of the evening, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.